down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy Investors? This is your boy, Steve VanCauwenbergh. It is Monday. It could be Big Money Monday. Yes, I am still working on Mondays. My goal is Mondays to bring something about money. May it be how to raise money, how to manage money, something with the word money. I am working on those podcasts. And if you haven't been listening to the show, but I have Nerd Rock Wednesday and Fabulous Friday, which is best deal ever. And so that's kind of what the themes are for those days. And it's not always that. But listen, the reason why I'm doing the podcast today, it has some money in it. Yep. And it has some real estate in it. Yep. But it was a very humbling experience that just happened to me on Saturday. What happened was, several years ago, I met another real estate investor, and he's a really amazing person. He's a musician, and he's traveled the country playing his guitar. And, I was in the music business, and I think I actually knew him before, but we've connected. Nothing on a grand scale. I see him at RIA meetings, or I see him at random stuff, or at the landlord lunch. And then I asked him one day, what does he do? What's your day job? Well, his main thing is that he goes and sings in prisons and just provide hope and tell people about big Jesus. And I was like, wow, that's cool. This is several years ago. And I was like, yo, bro, I was like, if you ever need anyone to speak. And of course, a couple of years ago, I was really into, when I released my book, The Savvy Landlord, I was like, man, I want to speak. I want to get the word out there. And then I created this thing called Dare to Dream comic book or graphic novel to give young kids, hope and purpose. And so anyway, a couple of years rolls by, and then this friend of mine goes, hey man, would you mind speaking to juveniles at the juvenile detention center on this day? And I was like, yeah, dude, that's a perfect day. I'm available. And then of course there's always roadblocks in life or obstacles or hurdles. And so he texted me right back, hey, well, they can't do it that day. Can they move it to the 19th? And I was like, well, I'm kind of out of town, but it worked out. So I was supposed to be out of town, but I drove back and to, give back. And so the theme today is, what's your purpose, right? But when you give, you receive bigger than expected. And that's exactly what just happened to me on Saturday. So I had no idea what to expect. I'm like, what do you want me to speak about? He's like, speak about, your story, rags to riches, how you came about from nothing until we are today. And the ultimate goal was to empower these kids and give them hope and a purpose. So, man, I walk into this juvenile detention center, dude, I was just freaking floored. I guess floored or fell down, because it was just like Prison Break or just like any of these shows that you see on TV where... I mean, these little children, these juveniles under, from 12 to 16, 17. I hollered at a kid that was 17. They live in a cell. It's a jail cell. They call it juvenile center, but it's a jail. And so, the first thing I was like, dude, I was just floored. I was nervous, just kind of shaking. I'm like, I don't even know. I had to go back. So I made a comic book, and right before I left the house, I read my comic book just to make sure that, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Like, I don't want to, not miss something. And so, man, I came into this environment and these kids were broken. I mean, they're locked up, and we gave them some food. And then I spoke for about 15, 20 minutes or so, maybe 30. I don't know. It was such a whirlwind and just the questions that, how do you buy a house was one of the questions. And I was just trying to breathe life into them. I'm like, dude, what's your goals? What's your dreams? And none of them were specific. And I was like, that's the main reason why you're in this joint right now, is because you don't have any specific goals. You're running with the wrong people that led you to this position where you're in today. And you can change this position if you want to. It's your choice. You live by your choices. You have to take responsibility. So the cool thing is that they were getting it. And then I just told them my testimony that, I'd never heard this thing called Jesus or this person, and accepted Jesus, and it transformed my life. And my only dream growing up with a single mom, brother went to a foster home, deadbeat dad, was to live in a house. And I mean, it's amazing that I own over 100 and something houses. And I was just like you. I was in trouble. Yep. I went to jail a couple of times as a kid for fireworks, for riding a motorcycle without a license, and all the wild shoplifting. Yep. It's out there. Yep. The savvy stole something from a store and got hemmed up one time. And I remember vividly when I got in trouble, it was at Sears. And they had to call my mom, which was on her third job, to come get me. And I remember her slapping me so hard in the face that I wanted to run away. And just looking at these kids' lives, I was like, man, they have no hope. They have no purpose. They're lost. They're hurting. And here I am, you know, been in real estate almost 20 years, and I'm able to give back. And that's the point. And giving back can be just volunteering. And that's what this message is. I'm going to tell you how I reaped on this deal. So I get in there and I get to hang out with the people these are people from a church. I don't even know the church name. It's not the church that I attend. It's some other random church. And they're volunteering on a Saturday, serving these kids. We gave them Chick-fil-A. And I was like, man, how did you pay? You know, you guys ate Chick-fil-A, but who paid for that? Who's the one that provided the Chick-fil-A? Somebody. Money does not, life doesn't move. It's like oxygen. Money makes the world move. And you being locked up, you can't make money. And so then I was just going on and on and on. And let me tell you something. I was more blessed to serve than I could have imagined. And just there's one child that I talked to, 17 years old. When he was 13, he had a baby. He has 4 kids now, and he's 17. And he's locked up for a whole year on a burglary charge. I'm like, dude, these are decisions that you're making. And so I just looked into his eyes. I'm like, look, dude, I see your potential. I'm looking in his eyes, straight point blank. He was my height, 6'2", or he's probably 6'3". I'm like, dude, why are you here? Why are you being a knucklehead? Why? You have potential. And I think that's what's going on. So what my charge for you, and I'm going to tell you how I got the real estate, got positive on this deal. But maybe that 5-minute or 20, 30-minute conversation I had afterwards with this kid could make an impact in his life forever. Someone took the time when I was a hood rat in the hood going nowhere. Someone took the time to pay for me. I had no money and bought me a ticket to go to a summer camp for the summer that radically changed my life. So somebody worked hard. Somebody made money. Somebody maybe had an asset that provided, maybe real estate. And so here's the end point, though. So I'm networking with these people, right? I'm amazed. I was quiet. I was shy. I had no idea who I was. I came out there and I just was blazing like, look, stop being a punk and you learn how to do it right. And so I was networked with all these people. There's a very well-to-do guy there. And that well-to-do guy was like, man, I really want to be in real estate. And I could feel, man, maybe it was a potential for private money. That wasn't my motive. But the guy wants to meet with me. That's just cool. Hey, wouldn't it feel great that someone calls you up and say, hey, I just want to meet with you. Hey, I think you're an important person and I want to talk to you. I was like, wow, I was humbled about that deal. It didn't matter that I had 150 houses. It doesn't matter who I am or I have published 5 books. Someone wanted to meet with me. I mean, that's what's the same concept for these kids. You're robbing a child's blessing by not volunteering. You know that you can take a Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., 3 hours of my life, and we impacted about 40 children, 40 roughneck kids. So that's all great. So I was more ministered to than the whole deal. So then we're going outside and we're debriefing and going about what kind of impact. And then next thing you know, this is where it just gets real, just opportunity just happens. And so the guy that introduced me, he's like, hey, meet this gal. I can't remember her name, but let's just say meet Sally. And Sally is a very detailed person. And I was like, my eyes light up. When I hear detailed people, I love detailed people. I love C's because I'm not a C. I am a C kind of, but I love detailed people. They help me make more money. Detailed people help me be organized. Detailed people help me go to the next level. That's what detailed people are to me. And so he introduced me to this gal, and I was like, oh, do you have a job? She's like, no, I don't have a job. And I'm like, really? I like this girl. I'm connecting with this girl. And I was like, well, what'd you do before? She said, I ran a roofing company. Oh, Jesus. That's what came to my mind. I'm about to hire this girl right here, right now. I said, hey, let's set up an interview with my general manager. And I think we can find, you see, like-minded people. This gal's on a Saturday, no job, coming out volunteering with some hood rat kids that are all pinned up on burglary, rape charges, killing people charges. And this gal's here serving, needed a job. And guess what? I work with a construction company. I manage all these properties, and I need an anal detail person. Now think about quantifiable. What at the heck? What, you know what it costs to hire a staff member? Can't say employees because we're all 1099. Well, what does it cost to hire somebody? Thousands of dollars to train somebody. But if someone's on the like-minded that's willing to serve on a Saturday, I said, this is what I said straight up. I said, I pay people that serve. We serve customers. We serve tenants. That's how we have a successful business. And let me tell you something. I can't even quantify thousands of dollars of savings of putting ads in the paper, going through mediocre interviews of lies and deceit, people trying to desperate to get a job. And I just got handed to me on a platter, a gal that needs to be working in my organization. Bam. So to me, to hire a staff member in my world is worth $5,000. Seriously. If I put a number on it, I could say I can quantify that every hood rat tenant that I have costs me $2,000, a minimum of $1,000 over every other year. I factor in, it's about $1,000 a year, at least $2,000 in make ready. So I just take that off the top. So if I'm making $300 a month off a hood rat house, I'm really only making about $175. And I add it up. So I was just for me serving, I didn't want to. I had all these hurdles. I meet this gal, and I don't know, I haven't met her, but today I'm going to interview this chick, and it's going to be gangster. But then I'm done, and then this church hands me a check. I'm like, what's this? What's this money for? What's this money for? He's like, we want you to have this, and you can pay it forward. I'm like, man, I've received big. Because I give.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter @LandlordBook and always be buying assets.